In the shadowed fringes of the Milky Way, where the stars dim and the silence of space grows heavy, lies Avaris, a desolate planet cradled in the outer reaches of the galaxy. Once a beacon of human ambition, a jewel of colonization efforts stretching across the cosmos, Avaris now lay forgotten, a relic of dreams turned to dust. Its surface, scarred by centuries of neglect, bore the vast garbage heaps that were monuments to its past prosperity and present decay. These mounds, sprawling across the landscape, were the remnants of a civilization that had vanished, leaving behind only the echoes of their existence and the machines that once served them. At the heart of this desolate world stood Lumina, a domed oasis of technology and order, shimmering like a mirage against the barren backdrop. It was the last bastion of the world that was, a city-state enclosed within unyielding walls of energy, protecting its inhabitants from the harshness of Avaris's reality. To those dwelling in the wastelands, Lumina represented the pinnacle of hope, a dream of safety, prosperity, and a life far removed from the daily struggle for survival. Among the scattered settlements that dotted the landscape, a small group of scavengers prepared for another day's foray into the unknown. These were the gleaners of Avaris, souls bound together not by blood but by their shared circumstance, each driven by the singular dream of finding passage into Lumina. They were a motley crew, assembled from the descendants of the original colonists and those unfortunate enough to call the garbage heaps their home. Eli, their de facto leader, stood surveying the horizon as dawn's light began to seep through the dark veil of night. Tall and wiry, with eyes sharpened by years of scavenging, he carried the weight of their survival with a quiet determination. His gaze lingered on the distant silhouette of Lumina, its luminescence a stark contrast to the muted tones of their surroundings. Beside him, Mara, the group's engineer, was already at work, her hands moving deftly over a makeshift console cobbled together from salvaged parts. Her brilliance with technology had saved them more times than they could count, fashioning hope from the refuse of a forgotten age. And then there was Jax, the youngest among them, whose enthusiasm had yet to be dulled by the harsh realities of their world. His face, illuminated by the nascent light, was a canvas of dreams, each one painted with the vibrant hues of life within Lumina's walls. To Jax, Lumina was not just a city but the embodiment of all that was lost and all that could be regained. As the sun crested the horizon, casting long shadows across the land, the scavengers gathered their tools and set out. Their destination was a sector of the garbage heaps yet unexplored, a region rumored to contain remnants of Avaris's golden age. The journey was perilous, fraught with hidden dangers and the relics of past failures. Yet, it was a path they tread willingly, driven by the sliver of hope that today might be the day their fortunes changed. The heaps rose before them like mountains, vast piles of detritus that spanned the history of the colony. Here, amidst the broken skeletons of machines and the scattered remains of consumer excess, lay the story of Avaris, a tale of ambition, hubris, and eventual downfall. The scavengers moved with practiced ease, their eyes scanning for anything of value, any scrap that could be repurposed, traded, or, in rare cases, sold for passage into Lumina. As the day wore on, their collection grew, a tapestry of the mundane and the occasionally curious, but nothing that hinted at the treasure they sought. Frustration began to set in, the familiar specter of defeat shadowing their efforts. It was Jax, with his unflagging optimism, who ventured further into the uncharted territories of the heap, driven by a gut feeling he couldn't shake. His persistence paid off. Hidden beneath layers of refuse, obscured by the passage of time, lay an entrance. Not just any entrance, but one that seemed to beckon them with the promise of untold riches. It was a hatch, its design foreign yet unmistakably advanced, a vestige of the technological marvels that once defined Avaris. Excitement surged through the group as they gathered around the discovery. Mara quickly set to work, her fingers flying over the alien keypad, coaxing the lock to yield. With a hiss and a groan, the hatch relented, revealing a stairway that descended into the bowels of the planet. The air inside was cool, a stark contrast to the heat of the day. They descended, the light from their torches casting eerie shadows on the walls. What lay at the bottom was beyond their wildest dreams, an archive, a repository of knowledge and technology preserved from the era of Avaris's zenith. The room was vast, filled with rows upon rows of data crystals, technological devices, and artifacts of immense value. It was a treasure trove that could indeed change their lives, offering not just passage into Lumina but a life of luxury within its walls. Their jubilation, however, was short-lived. The activation of the archive had triggered something else, something far more dangerous. From the shadows emerged the guardians of this treasure, not human, but machine, AI designed to protect the vault's contents at all costs. The scavengers froze, realizing too late the folly of their intrusion. These were the AI guardians, relics of a bygone era, their presence forgotten by all but the oldest tales of Avaris. Sleek and lethal, the robots advanced, their intentions clear. Panic ensued, a chaotic scramble for escape. The realization that they stood on the precipice of life and death was a jolt of clarity. Eli shouted orders, attempting to marshal a defense, but the fear was palpable, the desire to flee overwhelming. In the end, it was a decision born of desperation. The majority of their group turned to run, unwilling to face the deadly might of the Guardians. But Eli, Mara, and Jax, bound by a shared determination and the lure of the treasure, stood their ground. They knew the odds were against them, but the promise of what lay within the archive, the chance to alter their destiny, was a gamble they were willing to take. As the first rays of dawn gave way to the harsh light of day, the battle for the heart of Avarice began. The outcome was uncertain, the stakes unimaginable. Yet, in this moment, on the edge of oblivion, the scavengers found a purpose. They were no longer just survivors but defenders of their dreams, warriors for a future that shimmered just beyond reach, within the walls of Lumina. As the first Guardian emerged from the shadows, its form sleek and menacing, a palpable sense of dread filled the air. These were not the clumsy, deteriorating machines that occasionally roamed the garbage heaps, these were beings of purpose, crafted with a lethal elegance and an unwavering commitment to their directive. The scavengers, though seasoned by the harshness of Avarice, found themselves facing an adversary unlike any other. Eli, quick to recover from the initial shock, barked orders, his voice cutting through the rising tide of panic. Mara, Jax, back to back. Use anything you can as a weapon. We need to buy time. His tone, laced with a mixture of fear and resolve, galvanized the others into action. Mara, ever the tinkerer, had already begun assessing their surroundings for anything that could be repurposed into a makeshift weapon. Her eyes landed on a pile of metallic rods, remnants of some long-forgotten machinery. With a swift motion, she grabbed one, wielding it with a surprising adeptness. Jax, following her lead, armed himself with another rod, his youthful face set in a determined scowl. The Guardians advanced, their movement synchronized, a ballet of death designed to eliminate all threats. The first clash was jarring, the sound of metal on metal echoing through the chamber. Eli, utilizing his agility, dodged an incoming strike, countering with a blow that, while powerful, seemed to barely register against the Guardians' armored exterior. It became clear that their conventional tactics would not suffice. These Guardians were relics of a bygone era, their design focused on neutralizing any form of rebellion or theft. Their programming, undiminished by time, was a testament to the technological prowess of Avarice's ancestors. Mara, her mind racing, shouted over the din of battle, the panels. Aim for the control panels on their chests. Her directive, born of a quick analysis, offered a glimmer of hope. The Guardians, for all their sophistication, had a critical vulnerability, the control panel that served as the nexus of their operation. Adapting their strategy, the scavengers focused their attacks on the Guardians' weak points. Jax, nimble and quick, managed to slip beneath a Guardian's guard, striking its panel with all his might. The effect was immediate, the Guardian staggered, its systems momentarily disrupted. Emboldened by this small victory, Eli and Mara redoubled their efforts, coordinating their attacks with a newfound precision. Yet, for every step forward, the Guardians' relentless assault pushed them back, a reminder of the daunting odds they faced. The battle raged, a desperate struggle for survival against the Guardians of Avarice's lost secrets. With each passing moment, the scavengers' resolve was tested, their bodies pushed to the brink of exhaustion. It was a testament to their determination, a battle not just for the treasure but for the very essence of their dreams. Amidst the chaos, a new sound pierced the air, a low hum, growing steadily in intensity. Mara, her attention momentarily diverted, noticed a change in the chamber's atmosphere. The archive, reacting to the ongoing conflict, began to activate, its systems coming online after centuries of dormancy. Lights flickered to life, illuminating the vastness of the room, revealing arrays of data crystals and technological wonders that had remained hidden in the darkness. And with this illumination came a revelation: the Guardians, while formidable, were not invincible. Their strength, derived from their programming, could be their downfall. Mara, seizing upon this realization, called out, "Eli, Jax, cover me." She made a dash for the archive's central console, a gamble that they could not afford to lose. Her fingers flew over the alien interface, guided by intuition and a deep understanding of technology. The Guardians, sensing the shift in their adversary's focus, intensified their attack, aiming to thwart Mara's efforts. Eli and Jax, understanding the stakes, threw themselves into the fray, their every move a bid to protect Mara and the slim chance she represented. As Mara navigated the console, a sudden clarity took hold. She initiated a command sequence, a desperate bid to turn the Guardians' programming against them. The risk was immense, the potential for failure loomed large. Yet, in that moment, there was no turning back. The chamber thrummed with energy, a palpable tension filling the air as Mara pressed the final sequence. A beat of silence followed, the outcome hanging in the balance. Then, without warning, the Guardians halted, their systems locking up as the override took effect. The scavengers, battered and weary, watched in disbelief as the machines that had sought their lives stood frozen, trapped in a state of enforced dormancy. Mara, her breath coming in ragged gasps, slumped against the console, the weight of their survival heavy upon her shoulders. Eli and Jax rushed to her side, their expressions a mix of awe and gratitude. They had faced the impossible and emerged victorious, not through brute force but through cunning and unity. As they stood amidst the remnants of their battle, the significance of their victory began to dawn upon them. They had not only secured the treasure of the archive but had also reclaimed a piece of Avarice's forgotten legacy. The Guardians, once symbols of fear, now represented the scavengers' triumph over the past and their unyielding spirit. The battle for the heart of Avarice had ended, but the journey of Eli, Mara, and Jax was far from over. With the secrets of the archive at their disposal, the path to Lumina and beyond lay open, a testament to their courage, ingenuity, and the indomitable will to forge a new future amidst the ruins of the old. As they prepared to leave the chamber, their hearts heavy with the loss of those who had fled, they knew that their lives would never be the same. They had glimpsed the depths of despair and the heights of victory, a reminder of the cost of dreams and the value of those who dare to reach for them. However, they were also acutely aware of the dangers their discovery posed. The Guardians, though currently inactive, were a stark reminder of the lengths to which Avarice's ancestors had gone to protect their knowledge. There were likely others who would go to great lengths to control or destroy what they had found. The journey to Lumina, once a distant dream, now carried with it the weight of a mission, one that was fraught with peril but also filled with hope. With careful consideration, they began to prepare for their departure. They selected a portion of the data crystals and devices, those most relevant to their immediate goals and most likely to be understood and appreciated by Lumina's inhabitants. They devised a way to transport their treasure, concealing it within the same kind of refuse bags they had always used, a disguise that would help them move unnoticed. Their plan was simple yet bold. They would enter Lumina as scavengers, a guise that was both their reality and their cover. Once inside, they would seek out the city's leaders, scholars, and engineers, anyone who could grasp the significance of their discovery. They would negotiate for their place within the city, not just for themselves, but for the promise of a brighter future for all of Avarice. As they made their way out of the archive, the weight of their responsibility hung heavily upon them. The journey ahead would be fraught with challenges, both known and unforeseen. But the fire of determination burned bright within them, fueled by the knowledge of what was at stake. The sun was setting as they emerged from the depths of the garbage heaps, the light casting long shadows across the landscape. The city of Lumina stood on the horizon, its domes and spires gleaming in the fading light. It was a symbol of what could be, a beacon of hope in a world that had known too much despair. Eli, Mara, and Jax looked towards the city, their hearts filled with a mix of anticipation and resolve. They knew the road ahead would be difficult, but they also knew they carried with them the seeds of change. The battle with the Guardians was just the beginning, the first step on a journey that would test their courage, their ingenuity, and their resolve. As they set off towards Lumina, the stars began to emerge, dotting the sky with points of light. It was a reminder that they were part of something much larger, a vast and uncharted universe brimming with possibilities. And in that moment, on the cusp of night and the dawn of a new era for Avarice, they felt an unbreakable bond, a unity forged in the heat of battle and the shared dream of a better world. The story of their battle would be a beacon for all who lived in the shadow of Avarice, a tale of hope, resilience, and the enduring human spirit in the face of the unknown. And as they stepped out into the light of a new day, the legacy of Avarice's past and the promise of its future were theirs to shape, a new chapter waiting to be written in the annals of the galaxy. With the Guardians subdued and the immediate threat neutralized, the chamber, once a battlefield, transformed into a place of unprecedented opportunity. The aftermath of their struggle was palpable, a mix of destruction and triumph. The air was thick with the scent of ozone and the remnants of battle, yet beneath it all lay a sense of profound accomplishment. Eli, Mara, and Jax, surrounded by the dormant Guardians, were the unlikely victors in a contest that had seemed unwinnable. As they surveyed the room, the scale of their discovery began to truly unfold before them. The archive was not merely a collection of artifacts and data. It was a gateway to the forgotten technologies and knowledge of Avarice's golden age. The potential it held was immense, a treasure far exceeding mere material wealth. It offered a glimpse into the heights of civilization that Avarice had once achieved and perhaps, a roadmap to reclaiming some semblance of that glory. Mara, her expertise invaluable, led the exploration of the archive. The data crystals, each a repository of information, were of particular interest. They contained the accumulated knowledge of Avarice's ancestors, covering a wide array of subjects from engineering and medicine to the history and culture of the planet's heyday. The technological devices, though alien in design, promised advancements in energy, agriculture, and even terraforming, tools that could, in the right hands, transform Avarice from a wasteland into a thriving world once again. The realization of what they held within their grasp was overwhelming. For Eli, it represented a chance to fulfill a promise made long ago, to seek a better life not just for himself, but for all those who called the garbage heaps home. For Mara, it was the ultimate challenge and opportunity, a chance to apply her skills towards something truly monumental. And for Jax, the young dreamer, it was the realization of all his hopes, a confirmation that beyond the struggle and hardship lay a future bright with potential. As they delved deeper into the archive secrets, the trio formulated a plan. They would use the knowledge and technology to secure their place in Lumina, not as refugees from the wastelands, but as pioneers of a new era for Avarice. They envisioned sharing the archive's treasures with those capable of understanding and utilizing them, forming alliances within Lumina that could help bring about the renaissance they envisioned. The story of Eli, Mara, and Jax was far from over. It was, in fact, just beginning. They were no longer mere scavengers of the wastelands, they were guardians of a legacy, pioneers on the frontier of a new frontier. And as they walked towards Lumina, their silhouettes cast against the twilight, they carried with them the hope and promise of Avarice's rebirth, a testament to the enduring spirit of those who dare to dream.